Okay, so they are tapped at different points. Okay, so there are different types of distributors we'll study today. Now there are mainly 4 types of distributors that we'll discuss. First one, distributors fade at one end. Okay, then distributors fade at both ends. Then distributors fade at the center and ring distributor. Okay, let us directly go and see the first one. What is distributors fade at one end? See, it is very simple. This is the distributor. Okay, and you know distributors are tapped at different points, and we have also discussed that distributors are designed from the viewpoint of voltage drop. Okay, the voltage drop at the farthest end should not exceed farthest end, or maybe sometimes you'll find that when the distributors are fed at both ends, when it is fed at both ends, somewhere in the middle, the maximum voltage drop will occur. But it is generally designed on the basis that voltage drop should not exceed more than 6%. Okay, so at the farthest end, it should not be, voltage drop should not be more than 6%. Mainly in the urban areas, in the rural areas, it is still less. So it is very important to find out what is the voltage drop in the whole distributor. Okay, so we will find the different expressions for the voltage drops in different types of feeders, distributors. Now let us enlarge this one. Okay, now distributors fed at one end. See, it is fed at this point A and B is the distributor. It is fed at A. Okay. Now, these are the loads concentrated at different points of the distributor. Let us see, the load is I1, D, I2 and E, I3. And as it is fed at one end and no load is connected at B, so there is no current in the portion EB. So you can easily understand that the current entering this feeding point A is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. Current flowing in AC is I1 plus I2 plus I3, in CT is I2 plus I3, and in DE it is I3. Okay, so it is in this type of feeding, the distributor is connected to supply mains at one point and one end. Okay, at one end, and loads are tapped off at in the event of occurrence of fault, or suppose
Ma'am, your sound is not coming properly.
okay, let me put the headphone then. Is this the problem with all other students? Please, someone else raise their voice.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good to hear so many voices. Is it audible properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Sometimes what happens when I put hello? Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Please raise your voice
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
if you cannot hear. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So you can easily understand that the whole distributor needs to be disconnected if at any point fault occurs or some maintenance work is to be done. Now, second one, distributor fade at both ends. So in this type of distributor, you will find that the distributor is fade at this end, at the two ends, this end and this end. So sometimes the voltage at the voltages at the two ends are maintained at the same level, say V, and sometimes the voltages at the two feeding points are different. Okay, so you can easily understand that the maximum voltage drop will occur somewhere in this, somewhere in the distributor. Okay, you cannot exactly predict where the voltage drop will occur unless you know the voltages at the feeding points and the loads connected to the distributor. Okay, so see the what is written here, the load voltage first goes on decreasing and reaches the maximum value, then starts increasing and reaches the maximum value. Say the two voltages are constant, V and V. So what will happen? As you go from here to here, you will find that the voltage will decrease. The voltage at C is less than the voltage at A. Maybe at D the voltage is less than C, but somewhere at D or E the voltage will be minimum because current is also entering from this point. Okay, so how to know what is the voltage, that we will discuss elaborately. Okay, so the load voltage first goes on decreasing, reaches a minimum value, then again goes on increasing and reaches the maximum value. So here and here voltage is maximum. Okay, somewhere in between the voltage is minimum. So the voltage, the minimum voltage occurs at some load point and is never fixed. It always shifts with the variation of load because it will depend on the load. Okay. So nobody will be allowed to enter because it is already 10:11. Now say, what are the advantages if fault occurs in any feeder? Suppose fault does occur here. So this part will remain uninterrupted. It will get the supply from the other point. Okay. So even if any section is isolated, the continuity of the supply is maintained to the remaining sections. It is economical in cost since cross section required for doubly, this is doubly fed feed distributor is much less as compared to singly fed distributor. What happens? See, let us consider I1, I2, I3 are same as that of this feeder, fed at one end. So what will happen? At this section, maximum current will flow I1 plus I2 plus I3. So more cross-sectional area will be required for this section. You can put less cross-sectional area in these sections. Okay, because we generally design the conductors on the basis of current density. So here, as it carries maximum current, so the cross-sectional area required should be more. But here what will happen? At no part you will find the current will be I1 plus I2 plus I3 because it is this I1 plus I2 plus I3 is actually the current fed by this point and this point. Say the current entering here is IA, current entering here is IB. So IA plus IB equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. So you can easily understand that the loading is less. Okay. So it is said it is economical in cost since cross section required is much less compared to singly fed distributor. Okay. Now next one is distributor fed at one end, at the center. It is nothing but as if the distributor, if we cut at this point. Okay, so let us consider AC as one distributor, BC as one distributor. So it is simply like AC is simply like a distributor fed at one end. BC is simply like another distributor fed at one end. Okay. So if the current enters here is I, then this I will be equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4. So here also you will find maximum current will be at this point, and the points or the consumers located at the farther end, they will receive less voltages. Okay. So this type of distributor is equivalent to two singly fed distributors, each distributor being of half its length and having common feeding point. Just this feeding point is joined. Okay, otherwise it is same as that of singly fed distributor. Okay, so here also this part is heavily loaded. The portions of the distributors located near the feeding point, these are heavily loaded, and the portions of the distributors located far away from the feeding point, they are lightly loaded. And also the voltage is minimum at the farthest end of the feeding point. Okay. Now the last one is ring distributor. What is ring distributor? So a ring distributor is a distributor. You can understand the name from ring. It is a distributor which is arranged to form a closed circuit and which is fed at one or more than one point. So though the feeding point is one shown here, there may be more than one feeding point. So this is ring distributor. Okay. So what will happen? For the purpose of calculating voltage distribution, it can be looked upon as consisting of a series of open distributors fed at both ends. Okay. If the ring distributor is fed at one point, it is equivalent to a straight distributor fed at both ends with equal voltages. Suppose we open this one. Okay. If we open this one, what will happen? Say we consider this A, D, C, B and another point, say P. Okay. A distributor. So you open this point. Okay. Point A and point P. But this feeding point will be both at point A and point P. So it will be like a distributor fed at both ends. But as this is a common point, so fed at both ends with equal voltages. Okay. It is nothing. But this, as if you see the previous one, the second one, fed at both ends, as if these points A and B has been joined together. Okay, it is just like that. Ring distributor as if A and B are joined together. So you will get a clear picture after solving problems and after elaborate discussion of each type of feeder. I think I am audible properly.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I think recording is also being done. It is recorded. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So now first one, DC distributor fed at one end. Now there can be two types of loads. One is considered as concentrated loading. Another is considered as, you will find, uniform loading or distributed loading. Okay. As actually the loading is not the issue. The placement of the loading, that is the issue. Yes, Satyajit Jana, I told you that you can enter not after 10:10. Why you are late? Okay. Now, so I told you what is the difference. I was discussing the difference between concentrated loading and distributed loading. Say this is a 300 or 500 meter distributor. So this is say 100 meter, this is 100 meter, say this is 50, this is 50. Okay. So there are feeding, the loads are tapped at some distances. So it may be uniform, may not be uniform. But if it happens such that the loads are tapped after every 1 meter uniformly, okay, those are also concentrated loadings. But as they are tapped at very small intervals, say for a 300 meter cable, it is not possible to calculate, say after 1 meter, what will be the voltage drop, again after 1 meter, what will be the voltage drop, like that. So what we consider it to be uniformly loaded or or uniformly distributed loading. Okay, so this is the main difference. Sometimes students ask, what is the difference between concentrated loading and distributed loading? So only when it is tapped at very small regular intervals at very small distances, then we consider uniform loading and we apply calculus. Okay, you have to apply calculus. Okay, now let us see what is the case for concentrated loading. Okay, now it is very simple. In section AC, see, as it is fed at one end and no load is connected at B, so what will happen? Yes, Anushree, why you are late? Next day you won't be allowed to enter, okay? So, you can find as that is no load here and it is fed at only this point. So, what will be the total loading at this point? If it is IA, current entering is IA, then IA will be equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4. And what will be the current at CD? Definitely it will be IA minus I1. Current at D will be IA minus this I1 minus I2. Like that it will go. Okay. Otherwise, you can consider current in AC as I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4. Current in CD as I2 plus I3 plus I4. Current in DE as I3 plus I4. Current is EF is only I4. Okay. And the resistances may also differ because the distances are not same, may not be same. Okay, so we have considered different resistances. So if we consider different resistances, what will be the voltage at C? The voltage at the point C or the voltage drop in section AC is this V. If we consider voltage V minus the current here into R1. What is the current here? Current here is I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4. So it is V minus I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4 into R1. So here it is written voltage drop in section AC is this one. Then voltage drop in section CD is current in section CD. That means I2 plus I3 plus I4 into R2. Like that it will go. What is the drop in this section? Only I4 into R4. Okay. So you can easily understand what is the current flowing and what is the voltage drop in different sections. Okay. As soon as you know the total the voltage drop in different section, you can find out what is the total voltage drop just by adding this 4. Okay, and you can find out the voltages at different section. Of course, you can understand voltage at F will be minimum. Okay, let us see some problems, discuss some problems, then everything will be clear to you. Okay, before going there, sometimes you are asked to find out to draw the current loading and voltage drop diagrams. Okay. Okay. Say this is the case. Okay. This is the feeder fed at this end. So current is entering at this point only. Okay. So what is happening? If we draw the current loading diagram, what is the this I1 is maximum? You can understand what is I1. I1 is actually equal to capital I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4. Okay, so this I1 is maximum. So it is this up to this point, this I1 will flow. What will happen to this portion of the distributor? It will be less. Okay, it is I2. What will be the value of I2? I2 will be equal to small I1 minus capital I1. So in this portion, the current flowing will be small I2, and what will be small I2? It will be small I1 minus I1. In this portion, it will be again small I2 minus capital I2. Okay, it will still decrease and the current in this portion will be minimum, that is small I4. Small I4 will be equal to what? Small I3 minus capital I3. Okay, and small I4 and capital I4 are same because this current is flowing here. And if you are asked to draw the voltage drop, not the voltage drop. So what will be the voltage drop here? If the resistance here is R1, it will be I1 into R1. So what will be the voltage drop here? It will be this one, I1 plus R1. What will be the voltage drop in this section? It will be I2 into R2. Okay, in this section I3 into R3, in this section I3, I4 into R4. But what will be the total voltage drop from here to here? It will be I1 plus I1 R1 plus I2 R2 plus I3 R3 plus I4 R4. So at this farthest end, the voltage drop will be maximum. It will be summation of all the voltage drops in different sections of the distributor. Now up to this, is it clear? All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So sometimes
Yes,
you
ma'am.
may be given. Okay, thank you. Sometimes you may be given the values of I1, R1, everything, and you may be asked to draw. So in that case, you have to use your scale and draw these diagrams. Okay, you have to measure what is I1 and draw it in scale. Now let us go to the problems. Okay. So, okay. Now see, what is the problem? Problems are very easy. Actually, it requires only the concept of circuit, okay, that you have already learned in the first year. A 2-watt DC distributor cable AB is 2.2 kilometer long, supplies load of 25, 50, 75 ampere at 0.4, 1 kilometer and 1.6 kilometer from point A. Okay, so from this one, this data you can easily draw the figure, because it is said that figure, you have to draw the figure by yourself. Okay, it is given 25 ampere at 0.4 from A, 50 ampere at what distance it is given? 50 ampere at 1 kilometer. Okay, 1 kilometer from A. That means if it is 1 kilometer from A, then it must be 0.6 kilometer from this point C. So these distances are given and these loads are also given. And the remaining portion, this one is not given, but you can easily write down what is the length, because the total length is given. Now, from this data, you can already find out what is the current in different sections of the distributor. See, the current entering will be definitely summation of this one plus this one plus this one. So it is 150 addition of this one. What will be the current here? It will be this one plus this one. So 125, and the current here is 75, because though an arrow is shown here, but no current will be flowing here, because no load is connected. Also, it is not fed from this point. Okay. So this you can easily draw. Now, what is that other? What is the other data given? Each conductor has a resistance of 0.05 ohm per kilometer. You have to calculate the potential difference, and it should not be potential difference, it should be potential at each point. Okay, if potential at each point or the potential difference in each section. Okay, there is something wrong in this sentence. Either potential at different points, here, 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 or the voltage drop, okay, in these sections. Okay, if the here also this is wrongly written, potential, not potential difference. If potential of 400 volts is maintained at point A, okay, you can understand potential of 400 volts is maintained at the feeding point. Okay, so it should not be difference. Potential of 400 volts is maintained at point A. Now, this is very important. Each conductor has a resistance of 0.05 ohms. See, it is a 2-watt cable, okay, or 2-watt conductor. So, one go watt, another return watt, because it is a DC system. So, while finding the voltage drop, you must consider the voltage drop in both the conductors, because you know, if you provide voltage, say V volts here, what will be these V volts? These V volts will be summation of all these drops and also the drops in the return conductor. Okay, so you have to calculate the resistance 0.05, 05, you have to multiply it by 2, because it is written each conductor. You have to consider the resistance of both the conductors. Okay. Sometimes it is given R ohms, loop resistance is given, loop resistance of R ohms. If loop resistance is given, you can understand that it is the resistance of both wires. Okay. Sometimes it is given like this, within bracket it is written go and return. Okay, then also you understand that it has considered both the resistances of both the wires. But here it is clearly written each conductor has resistance of 0.05. So you have to multiply it by 2 before proceeding. Okay. So resistance per kilometer of the distributor, they multiplied it by 2 and this is the resistance. So though it is drawn by a single line diagram, it is not, the return wire is not shown. It is a general convention to draw like this. But you have to, while calculation, you have to consider the return conductor. Okay. So resistance of this section AC is 0.4 into 0.1 because this is the ohms per kilometer. So from this data, you can easily find out what is the resistance in these three portions. Okay. Now, if you find the resistance, then you can easily find out what is the voltage at C. It is voltage at A. What is the voltage at A? It is 400. So voltage at C will be 400 into 150, 400 minus 150 into 0.04. Okay, nothing. This voltage will be this voltage minus this drop. Voltage at D will be Vc minus this drop. Like that, they have proceeded and found out the values. Okay. So simple, very simple problem. Only the chance of mistake is here. You have to consider the resistance of both the wires. Okay. And you have to definitely draw the single line diagram. Okay. For you also it will become very easy to solve the problem, and also you won't get full marks if you don't draw the figure and don't show the current loading in different section or whatever data is provided in the problem. You have to show in the figure. Now, is this problem clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any question? Thank you. No question. So you have understood. Actually, whatever you learned in the first year, finding out voltage drop, finding out current, nothing more. Okay. Now, so just we will have a glance at different problems because this is very easy. So the load distribution on a 2-wire DC distributor is shown here. So the figure is given. Cross-sectional area of each conductor is given 27 millimeter square. Cross-section of each conductor, it is not possible that you provide one cross-sectional area for this part because it is heavily loaded. Less cross-sectional area for this part and minimum cross-sectional area for this part. It is not possible to design in such a way. So same cross-sectional area is provided and A is supplied with 240 volts. Resistivity is given 1.78 micro. Okay. So you know resistivity is given. So you can easily find out what is R. R is rho L by A. Okay. So rho L by A. So what is the resistance of this part? It will be this rho 1.78 into 10 to the power minus 6. What will be L? L is 150, but as it is given in centimeter, you have to convert this one in meter. So it is rho into L means 150 into 100 by A. You have to convert this one also in centimeter square because this is given in centimeter. So you have to put 27 into 10 to the power minus 2. Okay, so in this way you find the resistance of different sections, and what you have to do, you have to multiply it by 2 because 150 meter for the go wire, another 150 meter will be there for the return wire because this load is connected to somewhere. Okay, so see what they have done. They have first found out the total loading. What will be the loading here? 12 plus 15 plus 20. So it is 45 here. Here 20 plus 15, 35, and here 20. So they have found the different currents in different sections, and what is the two-core resistance of each section. They have considered for 100-meter length. You need not consider for 100-meter length. You directly find out in the way I told you. See, they have multiplied it by 2. Just write rho L by A. Okay, no point in finding out for 100-meter, multiplying it by 100 and then again dividing by 100. No point. So you can find out the resistance in various sections by the direct formula rho L by A into 2 to consider both the wires. Okay, so you can find out the RAB, RBC and RCD. That means the resistance of all the sections. And what is the question? The current in each section of the conductor. You can easily find out. It is given here. From the figure itself we can find out. And then it is given the two-core resistance of each section. What is the two-core resistance of each section? The resistance of each section you have already found out. RAB is 2 into rho L by A. RBC, RCD. Okay. And voltage at each tapping point. What will be the voltage here? VB will be equal to VA. What is VA? VA is given to 40. So what will be the voltages at B, C and D? You can easily find out. Voltage at B will be 240 minus this resistance into 45, because current here is 45, not 45. What is the ampere? Why it is written 45? I don't know. Oh, again there is some mistake here. I think it will be 10. Okay. Yes, that is some mistake here. Printing mistake is here. So it will be 10. See, here they have written 10. Okay. So you please correct it. In this problem, it will be 10, not 12. So it will be 45. Like that, you can find out the voltage at each point. Okay, you can easily do that. No special knowledge is required for that. Now, next problem, what is given? Find the, I will only discuss if anything new is there. Otherwise, I will just skip. You will be able to understand. Find the cross-sectional area of the distributor shown in the figure. Figure is given. The distances are given in meters. Okay. Take rho equal to this one. Maximum drop is not to exceed 10 volts. You know, maximum drop will occur at the point F, not B, because B it is not carrying any current. So, maximum voltage drop will be at this F. So, you have to do, you don't know the, what is the unknown? Unknown is the cross-sectional area. So, what you have to do, you have to keep A as unknown. So, you have to find out what is resistance. Rho L by A, you have to multiply it by 2. Again, this one, you have to find the resistance here. You cannot find the exact value. You have to find out in terms of A. Find out here, the voltage drops. Then add them and equate it to 10. Okay, because maximum voltage drop is 10. See what they have done. This is RAC. See, they have considered R as resistance of 100 meter of length of the distributor of both conductors. So they have not multiplied it by what? They have not multiplied it by 2. Okay, you can write down, you can consider the length of each conductor as R and multiply it by 2. You can also proceed in this way. So they have found out the resistance of different conductors. Bipro Dash, you are too late. So they have found out the resistances of each section, and then they have found out the current in each section. Then they have added the voltage drop. They have found out just IAC into RAC plus ICD into RCD. Like that, they have added all this and they have equated it with 10. See, they have made it 10. What is R? R is the resistance of both the wires. Okay, because nowhere they have multiplied by 2. They have considered both the wires. But what is R of single wire? They have, see, R resistance of single wire is R by 2. Okay. So, they have used here r by 2. They have considered this 2 is actually here. Okay, it should be here. So from here, what is r? R is actually rho L by A, or this r is for both conductors. For each conductor, it will be r by 2. R by 2 will be equal to rho L by A. Okay, from here they have found out the value for A. Is it clear? Any question from here? So no question. Okay, then I will proceed to the uniform loading. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Now let us discuss uniform loading. I told you what is uniform loading. Uniform loading is nothing but they are tapped at regular intervals. Okay. So you have to apply, suppose it is a 500 meter cable distributor and the loads are tapped after every 1 meter or say 10 meters. So it is very difficult to consider all these points and calculate individually. Though some approximation will be there, but still we'll get accurate results. Okay. Now what uniformly loading, for uniformly loaded distributor, the loading is not given in the form that I1 is tapped here, I2 is tapped here, like that, but it is given in this way: small I amperes per unit meter fed from point A. No, I think you should only read I equal to amperes per unit meter. Okay. It is the loading. Actually, small I is the loading and its unit is ampere per meter. That means at every 1 meter, I ampere will be tapped. Okay. So, how to proceed here? See, this is drawn like this. First, what we will do? It is you tapped at uniform rate. Okay. So we'll consider the length of the distributor as L, and we'll consider at a point C, an arbitrary point C at a distance x from the feeding point. It is fed at one end only, so we'll consider any point C at a distance x from the feeding point. Now one thing is clear: if I ampere per meter is the loading of this whole distributor, what is the total current tapped off throughout the length of the distributor? It will be small I into L. Okay, I tapped that after every 1 meter and the length is L. So what will be the total current or total loading? It is I into L. That means this much of current is fed at this end, small I into L. This is fixed. Okay. So the current entering, or you can write down capital IA equal to small I into small l. This is the current entering. So what is the current at this point C? Up to point X, how much current has been taken off from this distributor? Again, it is same, small I ampere at every 1 meter. So total current will be I into X, isn't it? So what will this the current entering at this point C? Current entering at this point C will be this current minus this whole current. Just as the concentrated loading. In concentrated loading, how we calculate? What is the current entering at D? Current entering here will be this current minus the current taken off at this point C. So here also you have to consider the same way. What is the current entering at this point C? It will be the current at A fed at A minus current taken from this section. So it will be I into L minus I into X. Okay. So it is written the current at point C will be IL minus IX. Is it clear up to this? হ্যালো এনি ভয়েস?
মানে এই কারেন্টটা সিবি দিয়ে ফ্লো করবে তো আই ইন্টু এল মাইনাস এক্স
না, হ্যাঁ, সিবি দিয়েও এই কারেন্টটা ফ্লো করবে না, পুরোটা দিয়ে তো এক কারেন্ট ফ্লো করতে পারে না, কারণ এখানে কিছুটা কারেন্ট চলে গেল, এখানে কিছুটা কারেন্ট, হ্যাঁ, মানে এখানে ঢুকছে বলতে পারো। কারেন্ট এন্টারিং section CB. Entering মানে এই পয়েন্ট এন্টার করছে, তাই তো?
হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে হ্যাঁ।
You can say that current entering section CB. So current at point C is IL minus IX. Okay. Now consider a very small cross section, though that cross section is not shown here. Okay. I think it is shown. No, not shown. So what you have to do, let me see whether it is shown in the next slide. See, a small section, you can show it like this one. Okay, it is almost same, but it is doubly fed, but in a single fed, the approach is same. You show one small section dx at point C. Okay, you can show in like in this way. You will find it in the book also, but here somehow it is not shown. So, oh, it is shown here below. I could not see. Anyway, small section dx is considered here. Okay, so what they have found out? They have found out the voltage drop in this small section dx. Okay. Now, what we have considered? We have considered three things: total length L, R, the resistance per unit length, and I. Now, if the resistance per unit length is R, what is the resistance over this cross section? R dx. Okay, resistance in this small section is R dx, and as this section is very small, the current at this point, entering point, and the end point, it is same. We have considered same. So, though that is loading, some currents are going out, but we have considered a small section. So, we'll consider the current to be same as I. So, the resistance of this section is R dx. Current in this section is small I. So, what will be the, not small I, current in this section is actually, at this point it is IL minus IX. So, we have to consider that current, IL minus IX. Voltage drop in this section, current into the resistance. What is the resistance of this section? R into dx, because R is the resistance per meter length. Resistance of this section is R into dx. What is the current in this section? It is IL minus IX. So what is the voltage drop in this section? IL minus IX into R dx. Okay. So consider a section of very small length dx near point C. Its resistance will be R dx, and the voltage drop over the length dx will be IL minus IX into R dx. Isn't it? It is the voltage drop will be, the voltage drop will be current here. We have shown current here is IL minus IX, and the resistance is R dx. So it will be the voltage drop. Expression for the voltage drop, it will be very small because we have considered dx to be small. So dV is equal to this one. It is the drop only across this length. So what will be the voltage drop over the over this whole length? We will start from 0 because distance here is 0 and distance here is x. So we have to integrate this small voltage dV from 0 to x. Okay, to find out the voltage drop up to any point C which is at a distance x from the feeding point. So if we integrate this one, we will find this expression IR into Lx minus x square by 2. So if you know, say this is a 300 meter cable. If we want to find, and it is uniformly loaded. So if you want to find the voltage drop at say 200 meter, what you have to do? You consider just x equal to 200 and find out what is the voltage drop. Remember, not the voltage. Voltage drop at 200 meter. If you know the voltage drop at after 200 meter, you can easily find out what is the voltage, just subtracting that drop from the feeding end voltage. Okay. Now, at any distance, the voltage drop is this one, V equal to this one. So what will be the voltage drop throughout the whole length of the cable? So that means the total voltage drop. So to find out the total voltage drop, just substitute L in place of X. So total voltage drop, you substitute L in place of X and it will be half IRL square. You have to remember this formula. Okay. The total voltage drop is half IRL square. Okay. Actually, it is coming from here. The voltage drop at after any up to any arbitrary distance X, which is this one. So from this one, you can find out the total voltage drop in the cable. Now, I am just rearranging. L, I am taking one L with a small IL. I am taking another L with R. Okay. So what is IL? I is the ampere per unit meter. Okay. So if we multiply it by L, it gives the total loading, isn't it? If I is the current per unit length and L is the distance, the total loading of this line will be small I into L. And if R is the resistance per emitter length, what will be the total resistance of the distributor? It will be R into L. So we have the total voltage drop. We can write it as half IRL square, small I, small r, because the small letters indicate per unit length in terms of per unit length. So that will be equal to capital I into capital R. What is capital R? Capital R is the total resistance of the distributor. Okay. And this IL is actually the total loading of the distributor. So what is the voltage drop? Total voltage drop in the distributor is half of I into R. Okay. I is the total current entering at point A and capital R is the total resistance of the distributor. So is it clear up to this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what is the next part? Next part, you have to draw the loading. Okay, the voltage drop diagram and the current loading diagram. See, how is the equation? Equation is just like this. It is the equation of a parabola. So maximum voltage drop is half IRL square. So it will be like this. See, current loading diagram. What is the current entering here? I into L. And the current will gradually decrease and ultimately it will be zero here. Isn't it? It will decrease uniformly, not in steps. In the previous one, for concentrated loading, we have considered it to be decreasing in steps. But this is not the case. It will decrease uniformly and come to zero. Okay. So here it has decreased uniformly. This is the current loading diagram. What is the voltage drop diagram? I told you the equation is parabolic and the maximum voltage drop is half IRL square. It is given here. So it will be like this. Voltage will, of course, it is fed at one end. So maximum voltage drop will occur at the furthest end. So from 0 it will start and it will go here. So that the maximum value for the voltage drop is half IRL square. Okay. So from the expression of voltage drop at B is the other end, it is clear that total voltage drop of an uniformly loaded distributor is equal to that caused by the whole of the load assumed concentrated at the middle point. Why it is written like that? Because it has come to half. Okay, they have considered half of the resistance, not considered, we have found out that it is half the resistance. So as if the load, it is concentrated at the midpoint of the line. Okay. Now, similarly, as you have found out the expression for the voltage drop, what is the expression of the voltage drop? It is simply I into R. This is I, IL minus IX is the I, and RDX is the resistance. So, if we want to find the expression from the power, for the power, what will be the, how we will find? Just to simply put I square R. Just we have to put IL minus IX whole square into R. Okay, instead of V, we will write dP if you want to find the power. And similarly, P, what will be P? Power loss will be up to point X will be 0 to X into this IL minus Ix whole square into RdX. Okay. So instead of IR, we have to write I square R. This is the difference because this is DC system. So power in the whole distributor, see, 0 to L. Power loss up to length dx is this one, IL minus I whole square into R dx. So up to throughout the whole distributor, you have to integrate from 0 to L. Okay, they have not shown the intermediate step. They have not shown what is dp. At any distance x, you have to integrate from 0 to x. This one, they have directly shown what will be the loss throughout the whole distributor. So instead of x, they have considered L. Okay, so throughout the whole length, or if you want to find out the power loss at any intermediate point, you can write here x and put, after integrating, you put that value of x. Okay, so here they have found out this one and they have found out this expression. Okay, you please check whether they have the expression is correct, because I have not checked. This is okay. Okay, you know integration, so you please check whether the result is okay. Okay, this one is okay, I think, but what they have done here also, they have done one mistake. Can you tell me what is the mistake they have done? This I will be square, isn't it? See here, so many printing mistakes. Please note down, it is I square R. So this total thing is I, but they have not put here I square, isn't it? Here they have done the correct thing, but here it will be I square. Understood? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So you put one I square here, this expression is okay, and you proceed. Okay. Actually, I have chosen this book because so many problems are given, and I always prefer discussing problems, so that you can get a clear idea. Though printing mistakes are there, but these are not should not be a serious issue for all of you, because you can easily understand that it is printing mistake. Now, now let us go to the problems. Okay, we have discussed the loading diagram and everything. Let us directly go to the problems. Let us solve two problems. Now, first one, 2-wire DC distributor 300 meters long is uniformly loaded with 2 ampere per meter. Okay. Resistance of single wire is 0.3 ohm per kilometer. You can understand, you have to multiply it by 2. If the distributor is fed at one end, calculate voltage drop up to a distance 225 meter from the feeding point and maximum voltage drop. You can directly use the formula. What is the voltage drop at a distance x? Voltage drop at a distance x is this one. So they have asked to find out the voltage drop after 250. So just substitute in place of x 250. Okay. So they have substituted here, not 250. I think they have asked to find a 225. They have substituted x equal to 225 and use the same formula. So find out the voltage drop. And what is the maximum voltage drop? Maximum voltage drop occurs at the farthest end. So you have to put x equal to L, or directly remember the formula half IR L square. Okay. So this is actually, or half capital I into capital R. So in this way they have found out. Now see, if this problem, say the problem is, contains 6 marks, okay, or 8 marks, then if you just write the formula and solve the problem, perhaps you won't get full marks. You have to derive. Derivation is very small. Okay, you can understand if 6 marks or 8 marks is given, you have to just write a few lines. Okay, show these lines and then solve the problem. Okay. So the problems are just very easy. Just you have to substitute the values in place of in the equations and get it. So maximum voltage drop also you have got it. And so two more problems. These are also very simple. So what is new? Let's see whether anything is new here. A uniform two-way DC distributor 250 meters long is loaded. So small I given, capital I given. Maximum permissible voltage drop is not to exceed 10 volts. So we can find out half IRL square is equal to 10 volts. Okay, maximum voltage drop is half IRL square, that is equal to 10 volts. Find the cross-sectional area. So from there, find out what is R. Okay, so remember, if you consider R to be of both ways, then while using this formula, you have to consider R by 2. Otherwise, if you consider R as the resistance of each wire, then you have to multiply here by 2. Okay, any one you can use. So from here you can find out A. They have asked to find out A only. Okay, so this is very simple. And last one, what is given? Distance, calculate the voltage at a distance 250 meters. So X is given 250, total length L is given 350, small I given 0.8, the voltage at the feeding point 250, resistance of the distributor go and return, that means total resistance is given this one. So this R, you have to remember, in place of R you have to use the resistance of both the wires, not a single wire. Okay, so though it is here it is given go and return, but if it were given that resistance of single conductor, then you should have multiplied it by 2 and substitute that value in place of R. So they have found out the voltage drop. So if the voltage drop is known, what is the voltage? Voltage is the feeding point voltage minus that drop. So they have found out. Then again they have asked to find out the power loss. You know the formula for the power loss. So in place of X, they have written L. So the power loss, they have found out this much kilowatt. Okay. So you try to solve problems from other books also. I don't think you will have any problem because this is very simple. Now up to this, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you. Okay, thank you. Now I will move to the next portion. That means we have till now we have discussed about distributors fed at one end. Now we will discuss distributor fed at both ends. Okay. Similar in the approach is similar. That means first we'll consider the concentrated loading. But here one question will come whether the two feeding end voltages are equal or the two feeding end voltages are unequal. Okay, let us consider first the concentrated loading and the distributors are fed at both ends with equal voltages. So what will be the voltage drop throughout the whole length of the distributor? It will be V minus V, that means 0, isn't it? So you have to find out the voltage drop in different sections and you have to equate it to 0. Okay, because there will be no voltage drop. Okay, somewhere the voltage drop will be maximum, but gradually it will again becomes less. It will become less. Okay. Now let us see what is the approach. So many things are written here. I will not discuss. Now see. Let the current, what is the current? Though the voltages are equal, but you never know whether current entering here is equal to the current entering here. Because it will depend on the values of I1, I2, I3, I4. Also, it will depend on the distance at which they are tapped. Okay. So, you cannot say that current entering at A is equal to current entering at B. So let us consider current entering at A is IA, current entering at B is IB. This much we can write that whatever current entering is equal to current leaving. So IA plus IB will be equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4 plus I5. Now you see the current in section AC is flowing from A to C. they have drawn like in this way from in CD C to D, in DE D to E, but in EF they have drawn current flowing from the other end. Okay, so it may happen that it is not the point E. Maybe at point D you will find current in section DE is from E to D. Okay, but one thing is clear. If E is the point of minimum potential, then what is the current will be entering from this side to point E, also from this side to point E. Again I am repeating, let us consider section AE only, and the voltage, this one, if this voltage is minimum, it will never happen that current is flowing from E to D. Can it happen? It cannot happen. It is the point of minimum potential. Okay, so current always flows from higher potential to lower potential. If this is the point of minimum potential, that means VE will always be less than VD, and VE is also will also be less than VF. Okay, so at E current will be entering from D, and also current will be entering from F. So you can identify the point of minimum potential in the distributor by observing the direction of the current. Okay, at in any other point you will find that the direction of the current is same on both side of the loading point. Okay, see, if C is the loading point, here also it is in this direction, here also in this direction. At every other point it will follow, but here you will find the direction of the current reverses at the point of minimum potential. I think this is clear to you, isn't it? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, it is clear.
Because it is the point of minimum potential, so always the current will flow from the other side to that point, from both the ends. Okay, so I think you will be performing one experiment there. If you connect different ammeters, you will find that current reverses at this point. So without any calculations, just by observing the ammeter readings, okay, not the magnitude, by observing the direction of the current flow, you can easily find out or identify the point of minimum potential. Okay. Now, both for the distributors, though they have discussed distributor fed at equal voltages and unequal voltages, the expression will be same. You have to find out the current in section AC. What is the current in section AC? Current in section AC, that you have to find out how they have found out. Say the current entering is IA. They have considered current entering here as IA. So what is the current here? It is IA. What is the current here in CD? IA minus I1. What is the current in DE? IA minus I1 minus I2. Suppose we don't know the point of minimum potential. In that case, what we will do? We will consider the current is flowing same direction. Okay. For calculation purpose, we will consider the current flowing in the same direction. If it reverses, of course, we will get negative sign. Okay, so no problem. You consider current flowing in the same direction. Okay, so what will be the current entering in this EF? Current in section EF will be IA minus I1 minus I2 minus I3. Current in this section FG will be IA minus I1 minus I2 minus I3 minus I4. Also current in section GB, will consider current flowing from G to B. Okay, current in section GB flowing from G to B, it will be IA minus I1 minus I2 minus I3 minus I4 minus I5. Okay, and that current will be equal to current entering through the point B in the other direction. Okay, because we know that IA plus IB equal to summation of these currents. Okay, so the current from G to B, that is equal to IA minus I1 minus I2 minus I3 minus I4 minus I5, and that will be equal to IB. Okay, so use this formula. See, current in GB, this one is equal to IB. Okay, and then find out the voltage drop in this different section. What will be the voltage drop here? You multiply it by RSC, multiply it by RCD. You have to know the voltage drop in different sections. Okay. So what is the voltage drop in different section? It will be summation of all the voltage drops in all these sections. And what will be the voltage drop? If you know these voltages at this point and this point, the total voltage drop will be VA minus VB, isn't it? Total voltage drop, you just equate it to VA minus VB. If the voltages are different, then VA minus VB will have some value. But if the voltages are equal, this will be 0. Okay. So you can find out the different unknown parameters from this equation. One equation, you will get IA plus IB equal to summation of all these load currents. Another equation you will get after finding out the voltage drops in different sections and equating it to VA minus VB. Okay, simple. Whether the feeding end voltages are equal or different, it will not matter. So let us see the voltage drop and the current loading diagram. See, first the current loading diagram. Now what we have considered, just like this one, we have considered that at point E, the reversal of current direction takes place. That means E is the point of minimum potential. Here we have considered, so the current at this point E, so that means the current here is I3. So I3 is actually supplied by the currents in DE and DF. Okay, it is supplied, both the currents are entering here. So I3 will be, if the current here is say X, here the current is Y, what will be I3? I3 will be X plus Y. Okay, this is clear. This I3, because no other point this will happen. See, this current I1 will be, some current is supplied by this one, but remaining current is flowing here. But here this is not the case. Here the current is supplied by this one and this one. No part of the current from this section is going to the other section. No part of the current from this section is going to the other section. This idea you will have to implement later on, so get it cleared now. What happens to all the points? At this point, some current is entering and some portion is leaving. Here also some current is entering, some portion is leaving. But here is the only point where you will find the current entering from the left hand section is not going to the right hand section. Whole current entering from the left hand section is going to the flowing into the load, and whole current from the right hand section is flowing through this load. Okay, so and this I3 will be equal to this current X plus this current Y. So this concept has been used to draw here, but what is the difference? The direction of X and direction of Y will be different. If we consider from left hand to right hand as positive, we have to consider this direction as negative. So how to show this one? In figure C, they have shown it like this. What they have shown, let the current entering is, say, though I have not shown here, say this is IA. Okay, this is A, this is B. So IA will be this one. Again, what will happen is at this point? At this point, the current will decrease. Okay, by this point. So actually, this one is small I1. I have not marked. You mark it. Just like the current fade at one end. You mark it. This is small I1. Current flowing in this section is small I2. What will be I2? Small I1 minus capital I1. Current in this section will be similar. Small I2 minus capital I2, like that. What will happen at this point? At this point, say this current is I3 is X. Okay, I have written it X. You can also write it I3. Say it is X. And what is happening? from that side y is entering. So from the other side, so you have to draw it in the negative side. This is y. So what will be I3? I3 will be x plus y. So this whole I3 will be x plus y. Again, it will go on increasing on the right hand side because current is being fed from the other end. Okay. In the singly end distributor, it will stop here. Okay. No current from the other side, but it will continue. The current will also flow from the other side. Okay. And this will be actually I5. This whole current will be actually small I5. Okay. Then you find the voltage drop diagram. The voltage drop diagram, you can identify voltage drop is maximum at this point, isn't it? Because this is the point of minimum potential. So voltage drop will be maximum at this point. So the voltage drop will be I1 R1, then drop I2 R2, then drop I3 R3. Now, which one will be greater? Which one will be less? You cannot identify. Say R2 is higher. Then it may happen that definitely I2 is smaller with respect to I1. I2 is smaller always with respect to I1. But it may happen R2 is very, very large with respect to R1. So you can find that I2 R2 will be much higher than I1 R1. So you cannot predict. This is we have considered arbitrarily. Unless you know the actual magnitudes, you cannot draw properly. Okay. But it is for sure that at this point, the voltage drop will be maximum. Again, the voltage drop will decrease and it will become 0 at the other end. Okay, this I have drawn considering both end voltages to be equal. So total voltage drop from this point, from one point to the other point is 0 because it is fed at both ends. Okay, so is this clear, all of you? Or any question you can ask?
Yes, ma'am, clear.
Okay, thank you. So let us now solve some problems as usual. If you don't solve problems, you won't get clear idea. Now let us see how to solve problems. See what is given. Here the figure is given, okay. And it is written 0.1 ohms per 1000 millimeter, per 1000. Here also it is wrongly typed. It will be per 1000 meter. Okay, this won't be millimeter because see, for both conductors it is given 0.1 divided by 1000 and it is written in meter. Okay, so this one will be meter. Now the resistance of two conductors of a 2-way DC distributor is 0.1 ohm per 1000 meter for both conductors. So they have considered both the conductors. In it and multiply it by 2. Both A and B are maintained 200 volts. Now this figure is given. Okay. So R is given. R you have to convert into ohms per meter. So divided by 1000. So you can convert. They have asked to calculate the current supplied at A. So I have told that only two equations are there. One is current equation, another is voltage drop equation. So current equation will be IA plus IB. That will be 50 plus 100 plus 150. Isn't it? So IA plus IB will be 50 plus 100 plus 150. That means it will be 300. IA plus IB will be 300. So what are the unknowns? The unknowns are actually IA and IB. Okay, so you have to get another equation. So another equation, how will you get? You have to find the voltage drop. See over here, what is the current here? Current here is IA. What is the current here? IA minus 500. What is the current here? IA minus 150. What is the current here? IA minus 300. You consider current in this in one direction only. Okay. So the voltage drop, R is known to you, distance is known to you. So you can find out the voltage drop in different sections. So they have found out the current, they have considered the current in the same direction. Okay, ultimately you will find that IA is less than 300. Then you will get this current in the opposite direction. So how to write the equations? So one equation is this one. So another equation, voltage is maintained 200. So 200 minus 200, that means 0. So total voltage drop will be equal to 0. Okay. So See, this voltage drop, total voltage drop equals to 200 and 200 will cancel from both sides and this will become equal to 0. So one equation you have got IA plus IB equal to 300. Another equation you have got this equation. So they have converted all in terms of IA. So from these two equations, you have got the value of IA. So as soon you get the value of IA, you can easily find out the value of IB. And what are the other things they have asked? Current at A, current at B, current in each section. Now you see, you find out as soon as you know IA, you can find out IA is 88.6. So what will be the current here? 88.6 minus 50. Current here is this one. What will be the current here? 38.6 minus 100. So it is negative. So that current must be flowing in the opposite side. Clear? So you can easily find out that at D current reversal is taking place. So D must be the point of minimum potential. Okay. So unless you find out the direction of the current, you cannot predict the point of minimum potential. And they have asked to find out the voltage at point C, D and E. If you draw this diagram, then you can easily find out the voltage at C, D and E and verify the voltage at D will be minimum. What they found out? They have found out voltage at D to be minimum. Okay. So this is the point of minimum potential. Is it clear, everybody? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Now next question. I will only discuss the, if there are any salient points. A two conductor distributor 500. This is the total length given, fed at both ends at 250. It is also fed at both ends 250. So total drop will be 0. Loads are given. This one, see, figure is not given. You have to draw this figure from this data. Okay. Loads are given and they are tapped off at these distances from A. That means, say, this 40 ampere is tapped at 350 meter from A. So you have to understand that this total distance up to point, say, E, it is 350. Okay. So this is 100. So you can easily draw the figure. Cross-sectional area of the conductors be 1 centimeter square. A is given 1 centimeter square. And rho is given this one. Determine the minimum consumer voltage. Consumer voltage means you have to find out what is the point of minimum potential and the value of that minimum potential. Okay, because that is the consumer voltage. Consumers are located at C, D, E and F. Okay. So the approach is exactly similar. Consider current I is entering here. So what will be the current here? IA minus 50. What will be the current here? IA minus 50 minus 60. Current here will be IA minus 50 minus 60 minus 40. Current here will be IA minus 50 minus 60 minus 40 minus 30. Okay. And current here is this one. Clear? So now you find the volt. So only one unknown. IB they have not considered. No need of considering IB also because IA minus 180 will be equal to IB. Now they have found out the voltage drop in different sections. You can easily find out because rho L by A. Rho is given, A is given. L you have to consider for individual sections. And don't forget to multiply by 2. This is very important. Okay. Whenever you are using, you have to using this rho L by 2, you have to multiply it by 2. See, they have multiplied it by 2. Okay, whenever they have considered 100, they have multiplied by 2. But they have considered resistance per 100 meter and again they have divided. You need not consider, you consider per meter only. Okay, then multiply by the lengths. It's all the same. So they have found out the resistance in different section. I will not discuss them. This is very simple. Then what I have done? They have just added the total voltage drops of different sections. There are 4 sections, isn't it? There are 4 sections. 5 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 sections. So they have added the voltage drops of the 5 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the total voltage drop is 0. So from there they have found out IA. As soon as you find out IA is 88. As IA is 88, you find out what is the current here. 88 minus 50, 38. What is the current here? 38 minus 60. So current here is negative. So it must be flowing in the other direction. So find out the voltage at D. D is the point of minimum potential, or the point of the consumer getting the minimum potential, located at the minimum potential point. So the finding out of the voltage is same. So I am not discussing, you find it out. Okay. Now see what's new is there in the next problem. How many problems are there? 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 problems are there. Okay, we'll discuss all these 3 problems. We'll not discuss elaborately, we'll just see. Okay. See if anything is new there, then only we'll discuss. See here, feeding point A, the voltage is maintained to 40. At feeding point B, it is maintained to 45. There is nothing new. Only voltages are different. So instead of VA minus VB, it was 0 in the previous cases. It will be VA minus VB will be minus 5. You proceed in the same way. Whether VA is larger or VB is larger, that doesn't matter. You proceed as the same way, VA minus VB, and you put it as minus 5. Okay, all the other data is given. Resistance is also given. Per kilometer of one conductor is given 0.3 ohm. You have to multiply it by 2 to make it 0.6 ohm. And remember, per kilometer means per 1000 meter. You have to convert in per meter length, because all these distances are given in meter. So what you have to do, the resistance per meter length, you have to write 0.6 by 1000. Okay. So other things I will not discuss. It is exactly same as that of the previous problem, because VB is 245. So VB is VA minus this one. So it will be exactly same, and you will get all the results. So here also minimum potential you have to find out where it is occurring. Every time minimum potential point will be that point at which the current is entering from both sides. Okay, so nothing is new in this problem. Now next problem. An electric train is taking a constant current of 5000 ampere, moves on a section of line between two substations, 6 kilowatt. It will be kilometer, not kilowatt. Okay, 6 kilometer apart, and maintained 585 and 600. So at this feeding point A, it will be 585. At this feeding point B, it will be 600. Okay. The track resistance is 0.04 ohm per kilometer, both go and return. So it is the resistance considering both the wires. Only thing you have to do, you can convert in per meter, or if all the distances are given in kilometer, you keep it like this, no problem. Find the minimum potential along the track and current supplied by two substations at that instant. So what is this? Actually, this and this voltage is remaining constant. A train is moving from this side to this side. Okay. At different points, it will experience different voltages, but it will draw the same current 500 at all the points. Okay. So this is the only difference. It will express different voltages at different points. Why? Because that is drop always occurring. Okay. But it is always drawing 500 ampere. It is just like a consumer located at different points, but drawing 500 ampere only. Let us consider that the point of minimum potential along the track is at a distance x, okay, from this point A. Okay, so how to proceed? We have to find out what is the resistance from this section AC. The resistance of this section AC is 0.04 into x. Okay, 0.04 into x. X they have considered in kilometer. You consider in kilometer. So this is 0.05 into x, 04 into x, and this is 0.04 into 6 minus x, because this distance is 6 minus x. So they have found out what is RAC, they have found out what is RBC. That means voltage drop here, voltage drop here. Now, what is the voltage at VC from this side? It will be 585 minus IA into RAC. And if we calculate from this side, this VC will be 500 minus IA into 6 minus x, isn't it? This is the same point. So what will voltage here? Voltage will be this 585 minus this drop, and same voltage VC will be 600 minus this voltage drop. Okay, so thus just they have equated this voltage and this voltage, okay, and they have seen VA minus IA RSC, and it is also VB minus 500 minus IA into 6 minus x. So both are VC. So you can equate this one with this one. Okay, so equate this one and this one, and only unknown is x. Others are all known. Okay, only unknown parameter is x, and you can easily find out what is x. Okay, maybe if it is a quadratic equation, okay, you cannot find out x, sorry, IA and IB are not known, but if you get expression of IA in terms of x, if you know IA in terms of x, you find out what is VC. VC is 585 minus IA into x. So if you substitute IA in terms of x, so only one unknown will be there. What will be VC? VC will be this one. So, and what is the condition? We are finding out the point of minimum potential. For VC to be minimum potential, we have to differentiate it with respect to x. Then only we can find out the point of minimum potential x. Again, I am repeating. Am I properly audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
again I'm repeating. Oh, thank you. Again I'm repeating. Actually, the point of this is varying. This load is varying. So the point of minimum potential, you have to find out. How to find out? You don't know the current. Okay, you don't know the current. Total current, you know the current IA plus IB is 500. But what is current IA? What is IB? You don't know. So let us consider at distance x, point of minimum potential has occurred. So what will be VC? From this equation, from this end, you can find out VC will be 585 minus this drop. From this end, you can find out VC is 600 minus this drop. Okay, but there are actually two unknowns. One unknown is x, another unknown is IA. Okay, but you can equate and find out the relation between IA and x. So IA they have expressed in terms of x. Now VC, for what value of x? VC is minimum. You have to find it out. So there is no other alternative than to differentiate with respect to x. They have differentiated it with respect to x to find out the point of minimum potential, and they have found out that when the train is at a distance 2.63 kilometer from A, the minimum potential occurs. What is the question? Current supplied by the two substations. So as soon as you know x, you can find out what is IA in terms of x. So current supplied, you can find out if you know x, x and IA, and the current supplied by the other end will be 500 minus IA. Okay. Now, if these two voltages were maintained at equal potentials, then you should have equated this drop equal to this drop, isn't it? But these are different. So you have to use the potential. This voltage minus this drop equal to this voltage minus this drop. Clear? So it was little bit different. So I discussed this one, but interesting problem. This problem is also the same type of problem. Okay. So let us discuss this problem, and uniform loading I will discuss in the next class. So up to distributors fed at both ends with concentrated loading. Let us finish. This is also a very simple problem. What they have written, they have actually mentioned, instead of telling the end voltages, they have mentioned one intermediate voltage. Nothing new. See, fed at points A and B, loads of these are taken from the cable at points C, D, E, F. The resistances are given at different sections are given respectively for go and return conductors together. Potential at point A is 240, potential at load F is given. Okay, at intermediate point. So here also 240, here also 240. Okay, this is not possible for single end because as it is fed at both ends, so voltage here is equal to voltage here, but here again the voltage will increase. So you need not bother, whatever data you have, it is sufficient. Calculate the current fed by each feeder. So what you have to do, actually you can find out, you can consider IA to be the unknown current. So IA is this one, current here is IA. What is the current here? IA minus 12, current here is IA minus 36, current here is IA minus 108. All the distances are given, resistances per unit distance are given, so you can find out the voltage drops in different sections. So you find out the voltage drop, and what is the voltage drop from point A to point F? As they are maintained at equal potential, 240 and 240, voltage drop is 0. Okay, this is very simple. So you find out the voltage drop in these 4 sections only and equate it to 0. And so what is the unknown? Unknown is only IA. So you find out the value for IA. See what they have done, exactly the same thing. Okay, voltage drop on both sides of the distributor over section F. Okay, they have found out as points A and F are the same potential, the potential difference between A and F is equal to 0. So this is 0. They have found out IA. As soon as you know IA, you can find out the current in different sections. After calculating, they have found that current IA is this one. And so what is the current here? Current is 10.29. Current in this side is 10.29 minus 72. So it is negative. So current is entering here. So E is the point of minimum potential. They have found out. Okay. If E is the point of minimum potential, then they have asked to find out the, oh, they have not asked to find out the point of minimum potential. Anyway, they have asked to find out the potential at points C, D and E, and also the voltage at the feeding point B. How to find the voltage at the feeding point B? What is the voltage at the feeding point B? If voltage here is 240, so actually if we consider current in this direction, VB will be 240 minus IA minus 156 into this resistance, isn't it? But you will find this IA minus 156 to be negative, so voltage at B will be somewhat higher. Okay, let us see what they have got. Voltage at B 240.55. So it is higher. Of course, it will be higher because the voltage is fed from this end. So you find out from the same equation and find out the voltages at other points C, D and E. So you find out voltages at different sections or different points. Okay, not sections. Voltage drop you can find in different sections, but you have to find the voltages at different points. Okay, so voltages at different points they have found out, and it is just like other problems, nothing new, only one intermediate voltage is given. Okay, so next day I will cover other things, and I will start from distributor fed at both ends with uniform loading and with equal voltages, with different voltages. Okay, so uniform today I have discussed only the concentrated loading for distributors fed at both ends with equal or unequal voltages. Okay, equal or unequal, the approach is exactly same, it doesn't matter. So next day we will consider the distributed or uniform loading. Today we have covered concentrated loading. Now have you understood properly? Then I will end the class today here. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Now today, how many students have joined? Oh, so many have left. I think I saw 91 or like that. Anyway, that's not my problem. It's your problem. So, it is very boring to take the same class on Tuesday and Wednesday. And one day I saw only less than 40 students